Ambessa Merdada. The name resonates across two powerful nations, Piltover, the city of progress, and Noxus, the empire of conquest. She is a warlord, a mother, a political strategist, and a woman whose ambitions stretch beyond the horizons of Runeterra. Her story is one of strength and conflict, not just on the battlefield, but in the very fabric of her relationships and ideals. So, who is Ambessa Merdada, and why does her name command such respect and fear? The Merdada name is synonymous with power, wealth, and vision. Originating from Noxus, the Merdada family carved out a unique place for themselves by blending the brute strength of their homeland with the technological and economic ingenuity of Piltover. While many in Noxus relied on swords and steel to conquer, the Merdadas wielded influence and coin, ensuring their legacy would endure across generations. Ambessa Merdada was born into this powerful family, and from an early age she was clearly destined for greatness. Unlike others in her lineage who settled into the comfortable life of industrialists and merchants, Ambessa chose a different path, a bloodier one. She sought to embody the core ideals of Noxus: strength, resilience, and the belief that only the strong have the right to rule. When Ambessa took up the banner of war, her victories on the battlefield were swift and decisive. Her cunning strategies outmatched her enemies, and her ruthless efficiency ensured loyalty from her subordinates and fear from her adversaries. Yet, even as she stood atop the corpses of her enemies, her ambitions stretched beyond warfare. She saw potential in Piltover, a city fueled by hex-tech innovation, and set her sights on controlling its resources. To understand Ambessa's rise, one must understand Noxus itself. It is not a nation bound by bloodlines or tradition, but by the unrelenting pursuit of strength. In Noxus, anyone can rise to power, if they have the will and ability to claim it. Ambessa embodied this ethos. Her campaigns across Valoran became the stuff of legend. She led legions into foreign lands, toppling kingdoms and dismantling long-standing alliances with cold precision. But Ambessa was more than a warrior. She was a tactician who understood that true conquest required more than swords. It required control over the hearts and minds of people, and the resources they relied on. When her victories brought her fame, she turned her attention to Piltover. Unlike Noxus, Piltover was a city driven by progress and innovation, a beacon of what humanity could achieve when it traded war for invention. But to Ambessa, it was also a city ripe for exploitation. Its technological advancements could fuel Noxus's war machine, and its wealth could strengthen her personal influence. Where others saw Piltover as an ally or rival, Ambessa saw an opportunity. Yet for all her achievements, Ambessa's personal life was marked by conflict of a different kind. She is the mother of Medarda, one of Piltover's most prominent figures. Their relationship, however, is far from simple. Mel grew up in the shadow of her mother's ambitions. While Ambessa thrived in the blood and chaos of war, Mel chose a path of diplomacy, art, and subtlety. This divergence created a deep rift between them. To Mel, her mother represented everything she rejected: violence, domination, and an unyielding belief in the survival of the fittest. To Ambessa, Mel's ideals were a sign of weakness, a failure to embrace the harsh truths of the world. Their estrangement is more than just personal, it is symbolic of the larger clash between Noxian values and Piltover's ideals. Mel's decision to distance herself from her mother and build a life in Piltover was not just an act of defiance, it was a statement that strength could be found in creation, not just destruction. Yet, even as they remain at odds, there is an unspoken bond between them. After all, Mel's sharp mind and unyielding determination are traits she inherited from Ambessa, whether she admits it or not. In Piltover, Ambessa Merdada became more than a visitor. She became a player in its intricate web of politics and innovation. Her wealth and influence allowed her to broker deals with the city's elite, securing her family's place among Piltover's ruling class. She understood that power in Piltover was not won with armies, but with trade agreements, council votes, and the promise of progress. To some, Ambessa's presence in Piltover was a sign of cooperation between the city and Noxus. To others, it was a reminder of Noxus's ever-reaching ambitions. Ambessa herself knew the truth. Every alliance, every handshake was a tool to strengthen her position. She funded research into Hextech weaponry, pushing Piltover's brightest minds to create innovations that could serve her purposes. For Ambessa, progress was not an end, but a means to ensure that Noxus remained the most powerful force in Runeterra. Ambessa's story is not one of simple triumph or tragedy. It is one of complexity, ambition, and contradiction. She is a conqueror who understands the value of diplomacy, a mother whose love is buried beneath layers of pride and expectation, and a leader whose vision extends beyond her own lifetime. Her legacy is felt not just in the battlefield she has conquered, but in the halls of Piltover's council, in the strained relationship with her daughter, and in the whispers of those who both admire and fear her. She represents the duality of power, the strength to shape the world and the cost that comes with it. Perhaps the most compelling question Ambessa's story asks is this: what does it truly mean to be strong? Is it the ability to dominate others, or is it the courage to build something greater than oneself? Ambessa would likely argue that strength is the ultimate truth, the foundation upon which all else is built. But in the quiet moments, when the banners of war are lowered and the deals are struck, one might wonder if even Ambessa Merdada sees the cracks in her own ideals. Ambessa Merdada is not just a figure of power, she is a reflection of the world she inhabits, a world where progress and conquest collide, where ambition fuels innovation and destruction alike. Her story reminds us that strength is a double-edged sword, and as her name echoes across Noxus and Piltover, one thing is certain: Ambessa Merdada is a force that cannot be ignored. What do you think of Ambessa Merdada? Is she a hero driven by ambition, a villain blinded by power, or something in between? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and share it with your friends. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more stories about the characters and worlds that make Runeterra.